Ynabbers. My name is Jesse Meekum from Ynab. It stands for You Need a Budget. This is another Whiteboard Wednesday. Today, I just want to talk about Rule 1, the first rule. We'll discuss in the following rules exactly why this is the first rule and how every other rule is just a derivative of this rule. But what is the first rule? Just give every dollar a job. Not most of the dollars, not some of the dollars, not almost all of the dollars, but every dollar a job. And the idea behind this rule is really just to decide what is most important to you, what your priorities are. And that is where you end up lining up your money with what you actually care about. That's where you get the contentment that is a big win when you start using Ynab, is that contentment comes from the fact that the money lines up, it actually is doing what you care about it doing, instead of just kind of doing whatever it wants. So the first rule is really deciding what you want your money to do, and then actually having your money start to do that thing. But there are a few little points about Rule 1 that make it particularly interesting. Number one is, it's zero-based, meaning if you give money to job number 1, you will have to give less to job number 2. And so instantly you're starting to have to weigh which is more important, job 1 or job 2, job 3, job 4, job 5. If you give more to one, you have to give less to another because it's zero-based. And that starts to really clarify your priorities. It's a principle that we throw around here a lot called scarcity. And it's not something we run from. Rule 1 is really about kind of creating that scarcity for your money, where you recognize, I have this much for restaurants, and this much for retirement, and this much for clothing, and this much for the kids. Instead of feeling like you have a ton, you feel like you have just enough. And when you feel like you have just enough, or maybe even not quite enough, your priorities really start to come out. They really bloom, because then you're having to make harder decisions about exactly what you want your money to do. So Rule 1 is really, at the end of the day, just clarifying your priorities and imposing scarcity on your money so that those priorities really have to be borne out. They really have to be real in order for you to make actual decisions about what your money will do. And then, with those real priorities fleshed out, because of that scarcity you feel, because of that, the money does start to fall in line with what you want it to actually do, and then you feel content. And we haven't even talked about the larger expenses you'll handle with ease, how you can make sure that you're staying on this for the long haul, or how you can step away from the financial edge with Rule 4. I'm just talking about Rule 1, where you're just giving every dollar a job, embracing that scarcity mentality, and recognizing that when your money is doing what you actually care about, you feel fantastic. I will see you guys next week.